friends, welcome to Math Magnet. Math made easy. This is for all you little geniuses who need a little help with math. Remember to use this video only as a guide to help you solve your math problems after you have attempted to solve them yourselves. Let's get into today's video. Today we'll be doing chapter 3 ratios from workbook for grade 6A. We shall be trying to solve questions from practice 3, which are solving word problems. Let's look at question 1. The amount of money Suri spends is 9 by 4 of the amount of money Linda spends. Linda spends $116. How much money does Suri spend? So now let's see how to draw the bar model. Now we know Suri spends. So the amount of money Suri spends is 9 by 4 of the amount of money Linda spends. So Linda spends so much money, which is 4 units, and Suri spends 9 units. Okay. So they have given Suri spends is 9 by 4 of the amount of money Linda spends, means 4 unit is for Linda, 9 unit is for Suri. And we know Linda spends 116. So which means 4 units is 116. How much money does Suri spend? So 4 units is 116. 1 unit will be 116 divided by 4, which is equal to $29. So 9 units will be 9 into 29, which is $261. So Suri spends $261. Question number 2. Maria and Rizal entered a competition as a team. Rizal's score was 1 by 3 of Maria's score. Maria scored 46 more points than Rizal. How many points did Maria score? Now let's begin by drawing the bar model. Now from this fraction we know Rizal will have 1 unit and Maria will have 3 units. Okay, so since Rizal's score is 1 by 3 of Maria's score. So Rizal will have 1 unit, Maria will have 3 units. And we also know Maria scored 46 points more than Rizal. So which means the difference unit is 2 units. And so these 2 units value is 46 units. Now the question is to find the value of the entire 3 units. To do that, let's see how to go about. We know Maria is 3 units and we know 2 units is 46. Value of 1 unit will be 46 divided by 2, which is 23. So 3 units will be 3 into 23, which is equal to 69. So Maria scored 69 points. Question number 3. The length of a rectangle is 6 times as long as its breadth. Question A. What fraction of the perimeter of the rectangle is the length of the rectangle? Give your answer in its simplest form. Question B. Find the ratio of the length of the rectangle to its breadth to its perimeter. C. The perimeter of the rectangle is 336 centimeter. Find the length of the rectangle. Now let's begin by drawing the bar model. We know length of the rectangle is 6 times as long as its breadth. So we will have 6 units for length and 1 unit for breadth. Now let's begin by solving the questions. Let's first begin by finding out the perimeter. So the formula for perimeter of a rectangle will be 2 times length plus breadth. So it will be 2 into 6 plus 1, which is 2 into 7, which is equal to 14. So the perimeter will have 14 units. Now question here is to find the fraction of the perimeter of the rectangle is the length of the rectangle. So we need to find length of the rectangle by perimeter of the rectangle. So the ratio can be written as length is to perimeter will be 6 is to 14. Simplified version will be 3 is to 7. Fraction will be 3 by 7. Question B. Find the ratio of the length of the rectangle to its breadth to its perimeter. So we know the length, we know the breadth, and we also know the perimeter. So ratio of length is to breadth is to perimeter will be 6 is to 1 is to 14. Now question C. The perimeter of the rectangle is given as 336 centimeter. Find the length of the rectangle. We know perimeter is 14 units, which we have calculated here for question A. So perimeter is 14 units, which is equal to 336 centimeters. So 1 unit will be 336 divided by 14, which is equal to 24. Now the question is to find the length of the rectangle, and we know length is 6 units. So 6 into 24 will be equal to 144 centimeters. So the length of the rectangle will be equal to 144 centimeters. Question 4. Leeson, Kara and Rose were typing. Leeson typed 2 times as fast as Kara. The ratio of the number of words Kara typed to the number of words Rose typed was 4:1. Now question A. What was the ratio of the number of words Leeson typed to the number of words Kara typed to the number of words Rose typed? Question B. Kara typed 48 words. How many words did Leeson, Kara and Rose type altogether? Now let's see how to go about. The information that we have is Leeson is to Kara is 2:1 because we know Leeson typed 2 times as fast as Kara. So it is 2:1. And we also know Kara is to Rose is 4:1. Now to combine these two ratios into single ratio, we'll have to make sure the common entity here, Kara's ratio, will have to remain the same. So 1 is 1, the other is 4. So we will convert this into 4. So to do that, we will have to multiply 2:1 into 4. So it becomes, Leeson becomes 2 into 4, which becomes 8. And Kara becomes 1 into 4 becomes 4. And Rose remains 1. So the ratio between ratio of number of words Leeson typed to the number of words Kara typed to the number of words Rose typed will be 8:4:1. Now we know Kara typed 48 words and we also know Kara typed 4 units of words. So which means 4 units is equal to 48. 1 unit will be 48 divided by 4 equal to 12. Now here the question is how many words did all the three type together? We know from question A the ratio for all the three is 8:4:1, which means the number of units will be 8 plus 4 plus 1, which is equal to 13 units. Now 13 units, we know the value of 1 unit is 12. 13 units will be 13 into 12, which is equal to 156 words. So which means Leeson, Kara and Rose typed 156 words altogether. Question number 5. The ratio of the number of marbles Zali had to the number of marbles Muthu had was 3:4. Muthu gave half of his marbles to Zali. What was the new ratio of the numbers of marbles Zali had to the number of marbles Muthu had? Now this is a before and after concept. So let's begin by drawing the before model and then the after model and see how to go about solving this problem. So the before model will be such that Zali has 3 units and Muthu has 4 units. Now this is going to be a before model. Now Muthu gave half of his marbles to Zali. So the new ratio became, what will be the new ratio is the question. So Muthu has given half of his. So which means 2 units of Muthu goes to Zali. So the after model becomes such that Zali has 5 units and Muthu has only 2 units. So the new ratio, the number of marbles Zali had to the number of marbles Muthu had will be 5:2. Question number 6. Mrs. Neo has 2 packets of flour. The ratio, the mass of flour in packet A to the mass of flour in packet B is 1:2. Mrs. Neo uses 1/3 of the flour in packet A and has 800 grams of flour left altogether. How much flour is there in packet B? We'll begin by doing the bar model. This will have a before and after model. So in before, we know the ratio of packet A to packet B is 1:2. So which means packet A has 1 unit and packet B will have 2 units. Now in this 1 unit, packet A, Mrs. Neo using 1/3 of the flour. So it becomes 3 units. Now 1 unit will have 3 parts. In this 3 parts, she is going to use one third of it. That is 1 part she will use from packet A. And she has 800 grams of flour left altogether. So now we are splitting one unit into 3 parts. So which means packet A will have 3 parts and packet B will have 6 parts. Okay, so now in 1 part is used, so packet A has 2 parts left and packet B has 6 parts. So total 8 parts or 8 units is equal to 800 grams. So 1 unit will be 800 by 8, it will be 100 grams. Now the question is how much flour is there in packet B. Now we know packet B has 6 units. So 6 into 100 will be 600 grams. So packet B has 600 grams of flour. Question number 7. Mr. Lim put some red pens and blue pens into a box. The ratio of the number of red pens to the number of blue pens was 3:4. He put another 20 red pens into the box and the ratio of the number of red pens to the number of blue pens became 2 is to 1. Question A, how many red pens were there in the end? Question B, how many blue pens were there? So this is again a before and after model problem. Here before is the ratio between red pens and blue pens was 3 is to 4, and after he added 20 red pens, the ratio changed to 2 is to 1. So let's see how we go about it. In before model, red pen will have 3 units and blue pen will have 4 units. Now after he added 20 red pens, that new ratio became 2 is to 1. Now by 2 is to 1 we know blue pen there is no change in number. If that is one part, then red pen should be 2 times that much of blue pen. So which means red pen totally should have 8 units. Now we already know there are 3 units. So there is an additional of 5 units that is added, and that 5 units is equal to 20. I repeat, when 20 new red pens are added, the ratio becomes 2 is to 1, which means the number of red pens is twice the number of blue pens, and we know there is no change in blue pens here because only red pen is added. So the number of units of blue pens remains the same, but red pens become 2 times that much of blue pen. So instead of 3 units, it is supposed to have 8 units because 2 times 4 units becomes 8 units. Now this additional 5 units is equivalent to the number of pens Mr. Lim added. So that is 5 units will be equal to 20. Now 1 unit will be equal to 20 divided by 5, which is equal to 4. Now we know red pen has 8 units. So 8 units is equal to 8 into 4, which is equal to 32 red pens. So there were 32 red pens in the end. Now question B, how many blue pens were there? We know blue pen is 4 unit. So and we know 1 unit is 4 pens. So 4 into 4 will be equal to 16 blue pens. So the number of blue pens that were there were 16 blue pens. Let's look at the next question. Question number 8. The ratio of the number of cakes Anne had to the number of cakes Beth had was 5 is to 2. After Anne sold 28 cakes, the ratio of the number of cakes Anne had to the number of cakes Beth had became 3 is to 4. How many cakes did Anne have at first? So again, this is a before and after model. So initially the number of cakes Anne had to the number of cakes Beth had was in the ratio of 5 is to 2. So which means Anne will have 5 units and Beth will have 2 units. Now after Anne sold 28 cakes, the ratio of the number of cakes Anne had to the number of cakes Beth had became 3 is to 4. Now here what we have to note is Beth hasn't sold any cake. So the total amount of cake that Beth has will remain the same. But instead of 2 units, it becomes 4 units. So which means each unit is split into 2. So after model for Anne will also be the same. Each unit gets split into 2. Now she's got 3 units left. So which means instead of the initial 5 units, it becomes 10 units, and of the 10 units she's left with 3 units. So the remaining 7 units is the amount of cake that she has sold, which is equal to 28. So we can say 7 units is equal to 28. 1 unit equal to 28 by 7, which is equal to 4. Now, how many cakes did Anne have at first is the question. So, Anne, initially we know that it is 5 units, but here we are splitting into 2 and becomes 10 units, correct? So, 10 units is equal to, and we know 1 unit is 4. So, 10 into 4 is equal to 40. So, she had baked 40 cakes at first. Let's look at the next question. Question number 9. The ratio of the number of goats in farm X to the number of goats in farm Y was 9 is to 4. After 35 goats were transferred from farm X to farm Y, there was an equal number of goats in each farm. How many goats were there in the farm Y at first? So this is also a before and after model. So in first bar model will show farm X having how many units? 9 units. So there should be 9 units of farm X, and farm Y will have 4 units because they are in the ratio 9 is to 4. Now here we should note that there are an excess of 5 units. Remember this is 9 units and this is 4 units. So the difference units farm X has is 5 units. Now in this 5 units, some amount of goats, which is 35 goats, are moved to farm Y, and after doing that the number of goats in farm X and farm Y becomes equal. So which technically means half of this 5 units is moved to farm Y, so that half of these 5 units is 35, correct? So after after the goats are moved to farm Y, they both become equal. Now we cannot write units as half of 5 will be 2.5, correct? So to do that, to make it simpler, we will divide these units into half. So 9 units becomes 18 and 4 units becomes 8. So your after model will look in such a way that of this excess 5 units, which becomes 10 units when you divide it into half, 5 units from that moves to farm Y. So over here if you see, farm X will have, out of 9 units over here, which will divide it into 2, it becomes 18 units. Now from 18 units, 5 units have moved here, so which means farm X will now have 13 units, farm Y will also have 13 units, because they initially had 8. Now we moved 5 from farm X, so it becomes 13. So both will have 13 units, so which means both have same number of goats now. So over here we have shifted 5 units from farm X, which is 5 units is equal to 35 goats. So we know 5 units is 35, 1 unit will be 35 divided by 5, which is equal to 7. Now farm Y at first had this blue boxes, that is 8 units is what farm Y initially had. So this 8 into 7 will give you the amount of goats that was there at farm Y at first, which is 56 goats. So there were 56 goats in farm Y at first. Let's look at question number 10. Mr. Rahim had the same amount of money in his 3 bank accounts at first. He deposited $44 into account B and $80 into account C. In the end, the ratio of the amount of money in account A to the amount of money in account C was 2:7. How much money was there in account B in the end? Now again, this is a before and after model. At first, all the 3 bank accounts had the same amount of money. So which means all the three accounts A, B and C will have uniform number of blocks of in the bar bundle. Here there is no change that is happening in account A. $44 is added to account B and $80 is added to account C. Now without any change in account A, we know after this addition it is 2:7. So which means we will retain this 2 as a ratio for all the 3 accounts. So our model will look like this. So before we'll have account A is 2, account B is 2, account C is 2. Why we chose 2 units instead of 1 unit is to make our process simpler, because here in this ratio, without any addition or subtraction in account A, we have mentioned the ratio of account A as 2. And we also know from our first statement that all the 3 bank accounts are equal. So which means all the 3 accounts had 2 units. Now in the after model, we know account B there is an addition of $44. We don't know how many units that comprise of, and we know in account C $80 is added. Now we know after $80 is added to account C, it becomes, the ratio becomes 2:7. That is between account A and C it becomes 2:7. So from the initial 2 units, it has become 7 units. So which means the additional $80 contribute the 5 units. So we know in account C 5 units is $80. So 1 unit will be 80 divided by 5, which is 16. Now account B will be 2 units plus $44. Correct? These are the 2 units plus $44. So 2 units will be 2 into 16, which is equal to 32. 32 plus this additional 44 will be your final amount that is in account B, which is equal to 76. So in the end there was $76 in account B. Let's look at the next question, question number 11. Ethan had some solid colored socks and patterned socks. He had 3 by 4 as many solid colored socks as patterned socks. He threw away 16 pairs of solid colored socks and 16 pairs of patterned socks. 1 by 5 of his socks were now solid color socks. How many pairs of patterned socks did Ethan have at first? Now we know Ethan had some number of solid color socks and some number of patterned socks. In that, the ratio was he had 3 by 4 as many solid color socks as patterned socks. So which means Ethan had 3 units of solid color socks and 4 units of patterned socks. So this will be your before model. Solid color socks was 3 units and patterned was 4 units. Now he threw away 16 pairs of solid color socks and 16 pairs of pattern socks. So from this 3 units he has thrown away 16 and from this 4 units he has thrown away 16. Now 1 by 5 of his socks were now solid color socks. So your after becomes in such a way that solid color socks is 1 by 5. So which means it is a fraction of the whole. Okay, so it is not 1:5, it is 1 by 5, meaning 1 by 5 of his socks, not just pattern socks. So 5 includes both solid color and pattern. Now we know solid is 1, so pattern has to be 4 to make this 1 by 5. How many pairs of pattern socks did Ethan have at first? Now this is the amount of socks that he is left with after throwing away 16 pairs of socks, each in solid colored and as well as in pattern. Now let's redraw this after model in such a way that you can understand it better comparing it with your before model. We know before model had 3 units and pattern socks had 4 units in before model. So we will redraw it in such a way that we will divide these 3 units into further 3. So 3 units will become 9 units. Okay, these 3 units will become 9 units where 1 unit is left, and these 4 units will be divided into 3 more units. So that becomes 4 into 3, 12 units. Okay, why we divide this is because we will have to make it into a like ratio. Earlier it was 3:4, then it became 1:4. So which means 3 has to be this has to be equivalent to this. So for doing that we will multiply it by 3. So this becomes 9 units and this becomes 12 units. Okay, so here it will be the ratio that we know is 3:4. 3:4 can be rewritten as 9:12. Now 8 units is 16. We know in solid colors now only 1 unit is left. So which means 8 units he is thrown, which that 8 units is 16 units. Now 16 and 8 units is 16 pairs of socks. So 1 unit will be 16 divided by 8, which is equal to 2. So 1 unit is 2. Now the question is, how many pairs of pattern socks did Ethan have at first? Now we know Ethan had at first will be equal to 12 units. Correct? 12 units. Now we know 12 units will be equal to 12 into 2, which is 24. So Ethan had 24 patterned socks at first. Let's look at question number 12, the last question. Galvin bought 3 by 5 as many non-fiction books as fiction books from a book fair. He read 6 non-fiction books and 13 fiction books. He then had 3 by 4 as many non-fiction books left to read as fiction books. How many books did Galvin buy altogether? Now, in this, as per this question, we know Galvin has certain number of books. In that, 3 units of books belongs to non-fiction and 5 units of books belongs to fiction books. And after he reads 6 non-fiction books and 13 fiction books, it becomes 3 units of non-fiction books and 4 units of fiction books. Now, let's see how to go about it. Here we know he has 3 units of non-fiction books. Now what is this blue and yellow here that we see? Here we know that he has 3 units of non-fiction books and he has read 6 books from this set. So each unit, let us assume he has read 2 books from each set. So that becomes 6 books. So the yellow represents the books that he has read from the non-fiction. Now similarly in fiction there are 5 units and let us assume he has read the same 2 books from each section. So that becomes 10 books. But here we know he has read 13 books. So let us see how the after model looks like. So in after model we will remove these yellow portions. So that becomes 6 and the remaining are the unread books. So that becomes these 3 units. So now the fraction of 3 by 4, the 3 we have made it. Now coming to fiction part. Fiction, originally there were 5 units. In 5 units he has read 13 books as per the question, and here we know we have 5 yellow boxes. So now if we remove 5 yellow boxes, we will be ending up with 5 blue boxes, but we have only 4 as per the question. So we will put only 4 boxes as the ones that he has unread. He has not read yet. So the other one automatically comes under the boxes that he has read. So we know here this is the books, yellow is also the books that he has read, and 1 unit of blue is what he has read. And we know the total is 13. So let us see how to go about solving it. Now the unknown x will be equal to 13 minus 5 into 2. So that will be equal to 10. So if this is 10, we know 13 minus 10 will be equal to 3. So which means this this one unit is equal to 3. Now we know there are total of 7 units. The question is how many books did Galvin buy altogether? So we know we have 7 units of blue, correct? This 3 units and this 4 units, we know there are 7 units. So 7 into 3 will be equal to 21 books, and of this he has also, so books at first, how many books he had at first will be including the books that he read. So he has read 6 non-fiction books and 13 fiction books. So including that, 21 plus 6 plus 13 will be equal to 40 books. So Galvin bought 40 books altogether. Thank you friends. Hope you found this video helpful. If yes, please do like, share with your friends and subscribe for more such useful videos. Feel free to comment your doubts down below and I shall get back to you at the earliest. See you soon with another math video. Bye.